telling you that the afternoon constitutional was moving to 4 o'clock because it's a much more repeatable time. But circumstance today, anyway, has forced our hand to go early because, serpentine belts and climbing mountains. So we're up in an area of the country known as Afton Mountain. It's the Skyline Drive area. It is the place where the frontier began in 1776 when Thomas Jefferson was writing the Declaration of Independence. This was considered the frontier. This was wild country. It was the Blue Ridge Mountains. And it's where Western Virginia began. See the John Denver song that is misassociated with West Virginia all the time. So we're here at several hundred feet. I don't know the exact amount, but it's where the interstate crosses Skyline Drive. And we're in an interesting, weird little place. This is called the Haunted Holiday Inn, I believe is what it's called. It used to be a chain hotel at the very top of Afton Mountain. Beautiful location, incredible. And it's gone now. And it's gone just the way this Howard Johnson's is gone now. And you say, well, hold on a second here, Joe. This is a hotel and a Howard Johnson's right at the top of the Blue Ridge Mountains, right at the beginning of Skyline Drive and the National Park, Shenandoah National Park, and right there for the Appalachian Trail. Yeah, and it's all closed. And I wonder, in half an hour we get to walk, we can get to the top and show you the hotel. Actually, if we go back here a little bit, you probably will be able to see it over my shoulder, because you can see a little bit of the top of it. Find a better location for you to see it. It's visible from down here. It's a little bit of a hike up the hill, but it's famous, infamous, mostly because of how it's mischaracterized, of having been shut down. Where did it go? Well, this is just some time to talk without me having to climb another 100 feet of elevation to get it. Okay. There, you can sort of see it right there over the tree lines. If you look there, that's the top floor. I think it's a 3-story. It's your traditional motel. It looks like Howard Johnson's Motor Lodge. But it's got an incredible location, and it's been abandoned since, I believe, the early 1990s. And so why, as we go back to the constitutional part of our afternoon constitutional, the walking, why is it empty? Why is it abandoned, Joe? Well, lots of people argue about it. The story, as it has been told to me, is the family that owned the land didn't like the county very much, or didn't like the county's attitude towards property taxes. Certainly not an unusual thing to say. Lots of people have issue with property taxes. As you can see, they don't want people going up here, but there's little spaces where you can hike, and people do hike up here quite frequently. I don't think you're supposed to, but they do anyway. So while we take our afternoon constitutional, let's talk about property rights. And let's talk about property values. Because the folks who owned this hotel were getting hit with pretty high property taxes. And as the interstate developed through the area, they noticed traffic was going down. So they tried to get the county and the state to, as they say in the trades, hook a brother up, help them out a little bit with the costs, maybe do some economic development to help them draw more people to this amazing location. But at that point, it was the 80s, and a lot of people had this attitude of, well, it's yours, just pay your taxes and we'll be good. But they were saying, you're asking us for taxes based on business that we're not seeing. We're not collecting the room taxes because nobody's staying here. The interstate was taking people past the hotel, and people were staying either in Waynesboro on one side of the mountain or Charlottesville on the other. So we're getting closer to it. So they stopped paying taxes, they started fighting with the county, and it became a whole battle royale over delinquent property taxes, liens. And so the owners, the property owners, just shut the hotel down, let it go derelict. They figured after a while it would start to become an eyesore, which it did. Started to become a danger. This is why you see all the barricades on the roads to keep people from driving up here. It's, well paved. I mean, it's got roads and access and everything. But the battle over property taxes and what is the responsibility of a government that's going to take more and more property taxes from you without doing much in the way of economic development. You can say, well, what's the role of government to do economic development? Why is it their job? Why isn't it the hotel owner's job to draw people to his hotel? That's a fair thing. But when you look at what some of the taxes that were being charged cost, I'm thinking we're going in circles here. I don't know if we're making it. We made it closer, and now we're going the other direction away. It's like the Kennedy compound. We used to live in Hyannis, and there were no roads that directly went to the Kennedy compound, so you were always kind of circling away from it. So I'm not sure if we're getting any closer to the hotel or not. So the battle became, the county was charging taxes, but the government had built a highway that took travelers right past the hotel. There was no place for people to pull off and get to the hotel. And I'm definitely thinking we're about to circle back down to where we were before. Okay, well, it was an attempt anyway. It is technically a constitutional as we are walking. Hashtag take a walk. But we see this so many times where municipalities can't see the forest for the trees. They say, well, we're going to collect all these property taxes, and the businesses wind up paying more in taxes than they were in property fees and whatnot like that. So they just shut down. And it's laid dormant. About 2 years ago, a deal was cut between Nelson County and Augusta County to redevelop the site and to take it over by eminent domain, which is not my favorite thing in the world. But at this point, the family members that were in the original battle with the counties had passed on, and the rest of them were like, listen, we don't want it. Now it's become a problem because it's an enormous project to fix up. I definitely think we're going to wind up back where this video started, which I guess is okay. But rather than just a protest, now it was a Herculean task to even consider fixing the hotel, which, to be fair, has always puzzled me because it's a beautiful location. And it's just proof that you can have the best location You can have the best idea. It's a beautiful hotel. Yeah, we're back down. Remember those blockages? You can have all the best property that I'm sure some 5-star inn would love to have right at the top. Beautiful views on both sides of Afton Mountain. In the middle of one of the most popular areas in Virginia, the Charlottesville area, and nobody wants it. It's dilapidated, it's run down, it's left to become not just an eyesore, but dangerous. You got buildings here that are wide open. This Howard Johnson's, there's constantly situations with sheriff's departments coming up here. Kids are in here fooling around and Lord knows what. I mean, this sign there and the boarded up Howard Johnson's. Obviously, this isn't going to be renovated. Nobody's going to take this and say, hey, let's just a little clean it up, flip this house kind of thing. No, that's not going to happen. And then you've got the tourism board and the whole office suite over here that's also in the same condition. So I don't know if it was residential or if it was what it was, but it's also fallen into grave disrepair. Back behind me, you see it there. And this is just prime real estate. Should be anyway, but it's the issue of how a government and a property owner, I'm not going to say it's all one way or another, but where a government, out of its attitude towards the property owners in its community, you can probably see it even better over my shoulder now. That's the top floor of it. I think it's a 3-story hotel. But the government can do this kind of thing where just in a battle over property taxes, people dig their heels in and you wind up with an incredible piece of property that's gone completely unutilized. Part of it, like I said, was because they built an interstate through, very much Route 66-esque. Nobody made a Pixar movie about cars going along US 250. It's not nearly that romantic, but since we were up here anyway, thanks to a missing serpentine belt, I said, well, let's take a constitutional at altitude and give you a chance to see that, because I have a feeling the replacement serpentine belt will be getting here just around 4 o'clock. So I figured to show you this great example of what happens when government can force out of business here. I don't know if you can see that sign or not. There it is, the Inn at Afton. Of course, it's also a tourist destination. I'm not sure why. There's a gas station here that used to service folks, and this is US 250 going back and forth across the mountain. This used to be the main thoroughfare. This is what fed that hotel up on the side of the hill. People would drive up there and have weddings. I mean, the swimming pool has water in it still. I wouldn't go swimming in it, but it's there. And there are people who have done ghost videos and things like that around here, trying to show it off. But it's all been done through taxation and heel digging and attitudes towards whose rights and what responsibility a government has to the property owners in it. And we've talked about this frequently. Property taxes are often, the attitude that, well, if you don't pay your property taxes, we're going to take your property from you. I see this road here. I'm wondering if this is the one that goes up to the hotel. I don't know how long we have left in our little constitutional, but maybe we can get up there and I can show you close up. That's a decent shot of it there over my shoulder. But the government acts like you're the tenant farmer and they've given you permission to till this property. That's not really the case. This country is built on property ownership sovereignty. Now, sure, we have responsibilities to pay for the services, the fire department, the police department, sure. But I've always maintained that it's been a better process if you just send property owners, hey, here's what our budget is, here's your cut. Not make it imperative that you're going to lose your property if you don't pay your taxes. I mean, there are ways, if somebody doesn't pay their taxes, you can work out punishments and that kind of thing without taking people, because the attitude is that because I will lose my property, this is definitely going further away from the hotel than we need it to be, but because you can take away my property if I don't pay my taxes to you, whose property really is it? And most of the time the government says, oh, it's your property, but if you don't pay your taxes, it's ours. So I think that's the bigger constitutional question, especially under the Fifth Amendment. So until our next constitutional world will be somewhere less, well, frustrating to me, because I really was hoping we could get up there and I could show you closer up what this eyesore on the side of Afton Mountain looked like. But c'est la vie, it's where my serpentine belt left me. So you get a little look at the ugly side of property taxes and the abandoned Holiday Inn at the top of Afton Mountain, and the inn at Afton on this constitutional. So until tomorrow, so long, and thanks for all the fish.